This video is going to cover the perimeter practice questions in your booklet at the back. Now the first thing you should have in your mind if you're reading your booklet is that to find the perimeter of a figure, you need to add up all of the outside lengths. When you look at your first diagram, or the first diagram you have to deal with this question, I want you to see that there are two sides which you do not know the dimensions of. You don't know this one, and you don't know this one. Before you start to add everything up, you have to, of course, find out the missing sides. So first of all, what I would suggest is you look at the bottom, which is 24, and you see that the bottom is the length from end to end. You could take that 24 meters and cut it up into pieces. You could have an 8 meter, and then you could have the 12 meter. If these lines were all pushed up together, and the unknown side, they would all equal, of course, 24 meters. So 8 and 12 together is 20. Therefore, the missing side at the top, the little one, would have to be 4 meters. Now the other side, which you're required to find, is the vertical that is highlighted in green as well. To do this, there's two different ways. I'd like you to have a look and see if you can find one way. The first thing that I see is that the distance from here to here, which is unknown, plus the distance from here to here is the whole length of 24 as well. So it's our job to figure out the missing green side. So the choices are, if we could find from here down, we'd be able to find the green line. The next thing that I see is that from here down is 20. So if that's 20, and this is 13, then that would mean that from here down would have to be 7. And this would also be 7, because it's the same distance, which 24 minus 7 would give you the difference of 17 meters. That's one way to do it. The other way might be for you to see that the whole length from the top down to the very bottom, of course, is 24. So if it's 20 from here up, from the bottom up, that would make from there up 4, which you bring that line over, this distance would also be 4. So 4 is one little section of the green length, and this dimension from here up is 13. So 13 plus the 4 would make the whole thing 17 meters from, well, the green line, from the bottom right to the top. That would be 17 meters. Okay, now that you've taken the time to find all the missing sides, your job is, of course, to find the perimeter. What I recommend for a perimeter question is always going to be the same. Pick a place in your diagram to start, put a little mark, and then work your way around the diagram and start listing all of your sides. If I go counterclockwise, let's just say I start at the top, I'm going to have a 4 plus 13 plus 12 plus 17 plus 8 plus 24 plus 24 along the bottom plus 20. That may seem a little infantile to do it that way, but I guarantee you it's an organized method. So 4 plus 13 plus 12 along the bottom plus 17 up plus 8 over plus 24 down plus 24 along the bottom plus 20 back up. You're back to where you started again. Add those all up, 17, 29, and so on. Get your calculator out. the answer is going to be 122 meters for the perimeter of that irregular shape. So it's your job, first of all, to find the missing lengths. In this case, you had to do a little bit of thinking. Straight lines are straight lines. And then find all the missing parts in the middle. Add them all up. You get the total. Question 2, you have to find how much it's going to cost to spray insecticide around a building that's 100 by 120. So 100 by 120. So it should be a rectangle. 120 is the longest side. 100 is the shortest side. They're both feet. If you're going to spray insecticide around the perimeter, that's a note to your brain. You want to find the distance around the outside edge. There's 2 ways to find perimeter of a rectangle. You can just add them all up, pick a corner, walk around. 120 plus 100 plus another 120 plus another 100, and you'll get right back to where you started. The perimeter would obviously be 440 feet. The perimeter of a rectangle, you can also do 2 lengths, or 2 times L, plus 2 widths, 2 times W, so 2 times 120, which is 240, plus 2 times the width, 100. Again, it gives you 440 feet. That, however, is only the first step. You're required to find the perimeter on the outside, and then the cost involved with spraying the perimeter. And it's 63 cents per foot, or $0.63 per foot. So we take 440 feet, and you want to know the cost. You could set it up as a proportion, or you could cross multiply. You could just do this and make your units work. You could do a simple, well, the multiplying, I'm going to get the answer in dollars. 440 feet by $0.63 per foot is going to end up giving you $277.20. You do it that way. You could also set it up as a proportion. If there's 63 cents or $0.63 of a dollar in 1 foot, then how much would it cost for 440 feet? So 440 times 0.63 gives you the same answer as before, $277.20. So from that question, I want you to learn a lesson, and the lesson is every question should be accompanied by a diagram. Then you'll very rarely ever go wrong. This question, you want to find the perimeter again. So in your mind, what you have to say to yourself is, okay, I need the outside edges. So do I know that length? Do I know this length? How do I find the length of a curved side? And this length, and that length, and this one, and another curved, and then another one. So your job, first of all, is to figure out all of the unknown straight lengths. A 7 on the right is going to be a 7 on the left. So that's the case. Your job then is going to be to figure out how to find the distance of this curved edge. Perhaps you could see that the top and the bottom together is really one circle, but it's cut into 2 halves. So to find the perimeter of a circle, it's a special word, and that's called the circumference. And the formula we're going to use for circumference of a circle is based on your formula sheet. Circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. The diameter is the distance across the circle through the center from edge to edge. So it's going to be your job in a diagram to determine the diameter. Well, the diameter in the terms of the picture is going to be from one edge to the next. If I trace that, it's going to be from here to here. we've got to figure that out first. Well, the whole length of the bottom is given as 15. So 15 minus this piece, 3, minus this piece of 3, 15 minus a grand total of 6 would leave me with the distance across the center of the circle as a 9 millimeter length. I'm going to translate that into my formula. Therefore, the circumference is going to equal the value of pi times 9. Now, if I want to find the circumference of just a half of a circle, which I can do it that way, from there to there, I would take the whole circumference for a whole circle, and then I would divide it by 2. And that would give me just the green line at the bottom. Formula-wise, 3.14 and all the rest of the digits that go with it. You can't just use 3.14. So 3.14159, whatever, multiplied it by 9 is going to give you 28.27. Then you're going to divide it by 2. So I strongly encourage all this to happen on your calculator in one step. 9 multiplied by pi, and then divide it by 2, and then look at what you have left. So it's 14.137, and then carry on with some more digits so you don't make the classic mistake of rounding too early. That's the screen. To solve the ultimate question, you are required to add up every outside length. So if I was to start anywhere in the diagram and work my way around, then I would have to be organized with what I did and pick a corner. Say I was going to start here, work my way around. So I'm going to add up my sides now. Let's go clockwise this time. I'm going to go up for 7, to the right by 3. Then I'm going to do a semicircle, which is 14.137, 1, let's just say 6, plus another 3, down to 7, left of 3, another semicircle, 14.13716. Okay, I didn't write that down right. 1716, and then one more 3 to get you back to the beginning. So we're 3 3s, 2 7s, and 2 semicircles, or a whole circle. Add that all up. At the end, the answer that you get is a calculator answer. It's going to be rather big, 54.27433, and that's millimeters. You go back and reread the question. How were you asked to round? Is it the nearest tenths? So tenths is a 2. The 7 is going to round it up to 54.3 millimeters. That's a perimeter of that figure. In other words, the distance around the outside edge. I'll do the next questions in another video, as they mostly contain area.